Hi folk. Today Google launched into beta the ability to manage Windows devices and allow you to sign into Windows devices with a G Suite account or a Google Identity account, and then give you single sign-on into Chrome. And this has raised a degree of interest, so I thought I'd just illustrate what it can and what it cannot do at the moment. The first thing I would flag up is that you do not need any special tools to be able to log into a Windows device with a Google account. The policies exist on the Microsoft side to do this already, and I've previously posted YouTube videos well before any of this happened where I could sign into a Windows device with a Google account. It didn't sign me into Chrome, but it did do this. So this is a bare Windows VM, and I've installed a little application that Google provide, which puts this at a work account as an option. Then you get a big googly thingy there, and you click on there and you sign in with your school account or your work account or whatever. And let me think of an account I can sign in with. Test staff at Rise Primary.org, which is one of our schools, but it doesn't have 2 R's in there. And can I remember what the password is? Yes, I think I can. Okay, and I sign in with their account. Now, I'm not using G Suite for Enterprise, and for this to work properly, you're going to need to have enterprise licenses, and enterprise licenses cost real money. The only reason I've actually got the application is because I took part in the alpha for this, and I've been invited to the beta despite the fact that I don't have any enterprise licenses, but it does allow me to download the app to do this, so I thought, what the hell, give it a try anyways. And the first time you log into Windows, you get all this rubbish if you do it this way. So this has no management other than like I installed that app so you can sign in with your Google account. And one of the neat things is if I fire up Chrome now, link data, turn on sync, I'm signed in with my Google account. I didn't have to put it in or anything like that, so I'm signed in with this test account here. However, if you try and do the same trick with FileStream, which I've got installed on here as well, it doesn't recognize that you're already signed in, but you can of course just click on sign in with the browser instead, except because there's no management on here. Chrome's not set as the default browser, so I'd have to go into here and apps and God, default apps, there it is, yep, found it. Boom, I've changed Chrome to the default browser. Right, now I can go FileStream. It says FileStream's already running. Ah, okay, right, sign in, there we go. Right, sign in with the browser instead. And there we go, sign out, blah blah blah, and now I'm signed in with FileStream. So I guess what we've achieved is I've not had to sign into Chrome. I've not have to put in any credentials to be signed into Chrome, or indeed signed into FileStream. There's only a getting started dock in there. However, there's no management per se on this computer. There's no app deployment. There's nothing. I mean, the back end of the enterprise section, what you can actually do is configure Windows updates. You can set some policies by the OMR URL thingamajiggies, basically incredibly cryptic Microsoft commands, which can basically sort of do the same things as group policy can do, but it requires an awful lot of effort to achieve much. And there's a few other things that you can do. But there's no software deployment, which is a real key issue. So at the moment, I don't see this as a standalone way of managing Windows devices in the slightest. I mean, I couldn't use it, not in the way it's set up at the moment. So so you can see I've got these users sort of accruing up here. And if I click on one of them, it's going to nag me that I need to enroll my device, sign into your account. Well, because I don't have Enterprise, it can't enroll my device. So this is another one of my virtual machines. Now this is one of my virtual machines which I use for testing for actual school deployments of Windows devices, which we manage with Azure AD and Intune. Go on to other user here. What you'd normally do is put in your username here and your password there, and it says sign in to larkriseprimary.org, which happens to be the test domain of this particular setup. And what we do is synchronize G Suite accounts to Office 365, and you're actually signing in here with a Microsoft account. The only thing is, doesn't seem to be a way of synchronizing the password, which is a little bit of a pain in the backside, so you have to give people a PC password. However, it works, and it works fine. And what I did was install the app that I installed on here on this Intune managed device to see what would happen. So what you can now do is click on sign in options, and hey, there's a Google login thing, so let's not worry about signing in with the Google password. And you'd think that would be a thing, but if you click on there now, sign in with your work account, just like we had here. Add a work account, sign in with your work account, and at that point you get this pop-up. Oops, that's a different one. Nothing happens. Now I don't know whether that's because of one of the Intune policies I've got set that says you're going to sign in with this domain, or there's something else going on. I'm going to have to sort of dig around and see whether there is any way I can actually get that sign-in thing to work, because now you can't sign into this. So it's not useful in that sense, because you'd have to couple this with a mobile management platform like Intune to be of any real value, I think, because Intune you can push apps and all sorts of other policies and things to manage the user experience. So to show you one that is Intune managed and hasn't got any sort of Google login thing put in, so this is a user. I just sign into this normally with a Microsoft account, and desktop wallpaper, of course. We've got apps here which are pushed with Intune, and I've also used an Intune policy using the Chrome policy. It's just a bit like you do if you were AD managing, so group policy. So this user has to sign in, and they have to sign in with an account on the skill. If I try and sign in with a private Google account or one that's not on this domain, it will fail. But I've also pushed things like file stream to this computer and print deploy, but I couldn't do that with the Google thing on its own. So it's interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. The fact that it's requiring enterprise licenses may kill it stone dead for me, because do you need only 10 enterprise licenses, which is the minimum you can actually buy, and then you can manage it but allow anybody to sign in? or does everybody who's signing into the computer need an enterprise license? A bit like anybody signing into an Intune managed device needs to have an Intune license associated with their account. I don't know. When I read the instructions, which I'm not allowed to show you, it was unclear on those points. So I'm going to get some trial enterprise licenses and see what happens. I might also I think the reason that this might be not working here is because I've got some sign-in restrictions on this. It's restricted to being signed in with larkriseprimary.org Microsoft account, and I think maybe it's something to do with that, and it just doesn't allow this to go through. I removed the sign-in restriction on this particular computer, then it might work. I don't know, but then I don't know what's to stop somebody adding a private Microsoft account to it, which I wouldn't want to happen. So anyways, that's kind of what it looks like at the moment. It's very much a product in testing, and I wouldn't recommend it for like real world use right now, not without a lot of testing. But it's interesting that Google are going into the sort of Windows device management sort of area. Anyways, sorry to ramble on. Hope that was vaguely interesting.